Is it possible that Shedeur Sanders just took the spotlight without even being handed it? While most rookies are quietly adjusting to pro life, Shedeur walked into preseason already drawing attention. Not because of flashy quotes or wild celebrations, but because another quarterback on his team couldn't stop talking about him. Dillon Gabriel, the guy who was supposed to be the safe choice, took the field, fizzled fast, and left nothing behind but a few turnovers and one icy comment about Shedeur Sanders. He didn't call him weak. He didn't say he played bad. He called him an entertainer, not a competitor, not a leader. And just like that, everything changed. Because when Shedeur finally took the field, he didn't just prove himself. He exposed the gap between these two quarterbacks in a way no one saw coming. So what really happened? And why are people saying Dillon Gabriel may have just fumbled more than the football that night? It all started with a microphone and a moment that should have been simple. After struggling through a rough preseason outing, Dillon Gabriel was asked about the quarterback competition. A standard question, right? But his response raised way more eyebrows than anyone expected. Gabriel leaned back, cool and casual, and said, "There's entertainers, and there's competitors, and I'm here to compete." He didn't say Shedeur's name, but he didn't have to. Just hours earlier, Shedeur Sanders had taken the field and played with the kind of rhythm, control, and swagger that gets entire stadiums watching. Complete passes, smart reads, deep throws, he made it look easy. So the comparison was obvious, and that line, it hit different. Fans decoded it instantly. Media clipped it and ran with it. Why? Because it didn't sound like confidence. It sounded like frustration. Let's be honest, calling another quarterback an entertainer instead of a competitor is a calculated move. It implies flash over substance. Lights, camera, no heart. But the irony? Gabriel's own performance had just collapsed in real time. 0 touchdowns, turnovers, missed reads. And that competitive edge he talked about, it was nowhere to be seen once the pressure hit. So why take the shot? That's what everyone started asking. Was it jealousy? Was he trying to get ahead of the narrative? Or was this some quiet panic, knowing that his biggest threat on the depth chart wasn't just gaining fans, but gaining momentum? That one comment flipped the script. What should have been a basic press moment turned into a storyline about something, because competition doesn't just reveal your skills. It reveals your character. The preseason game was supposed to be a chance for Dillon Gabriel to prove he belonged. Coach Stefanski handed him the start, a risky but telling decision. Whether it was about depth tracking or quarterback rotation, fans knew one thing: Gabriel had the stage. And it didn't take long for things to fall apart. From the first snap, Gabriel looked uncomfortable. He played it safe, too safe. Short throws, quick checkdowns, no rhythm. The offense stalled over and over. And even with the first-team defense giving him protection, he couldn't capitalize. No big plays, no movement down the field, nothing that even hinted at explosiveness. It wasn't just poor execution. It was fear of failure. And that mindset showed. And then it got worse. 2 critical turnovers shifted control of the game. One of them, a brutal fumble that opened the door for the Eagles to take full momentum. Even as the Browns' defense locked in and tried to bail things out, Gabriel's conservative approach left the offense stuck in neutral. But here's what really hit fans and analysts alike. When the stars rotated off the field, Gabriel got exposed. With second-string blockers and limited protection, he collapsed completely. Pocket presence vanished. Decision-making crumbled. The competitor he claimed to be, not even visible. Yet on the sideline, he didn't look rattled. He looked unbothered. As if the stat sheet didn't apply to him. As if throwing shade at his teammate was more important than shining on the field. That's when the conversation shifted, and fast. Because if you're gonna make bold comments, the one thing you can't do is come up short when it's your turn. And for Gabriel, that night on the field was all gasping breaks and vanishing confidence. Meanwhile, someone else was quietly warming up. While Dillon Gabriel's night was slipping away, the Browns' defense stepped in and did something Gabriel didn't: make a game-changing play. Early in the third quarter, KJ Henry picked off a pass and took it 45 yards straight to the house. That wasn't just a momentum shift, it was a lifeline. Suddenly, the Browns were in control. But here's the twist. That spark, it didn't come from the quarterback. It came from the other side of the ball, the part of the team that had nothing to do with Gabriel's safe throws and hesitations. Defensive backs like Andrew Makuba were flying across the field, erasing receiver options, even picking off Gabriel's throws and reminding everyone what pressure does to the unprepared. It became clear, this wasn't quarterback-led football. This was survival. And it begged one question: where was Sanders? Because while Gabriel had struggled behind protection, panicked under pressure, and said all the wrong things after the game, Shedeur hadn't even played yet. There were whispers in the stadium. Fans started looking toward the sideline. Eyes drifted from the scoreboard to number 2. And when Sanders finally stepped on the field, everything shifted. The pace changed. The energy flipped. The silence, it got loud. Shedeur didn't celebrate. He didn't posture. He just lined up and went to work. Deep throws, quick decisions, confidence oozing from every snap. He made it look easy, but this was no warm-up. It was a statement. Because while Gabriel had the start, Shedeur had the finish. And sometimes, that's what people remember most. Defensive highlights and unexpected momentum swings, Coach Stefanski stepped up to the mic. His job? Keep things cool, confident, under control. But beneath the usual coach speak, you could hear it, a shift in tone. He opened calmly, praising the team's overall effort. "We did some really good things out there," he said. But when the discussion turned to turnovers, his expression tightened. 2 giveaways in the first half, both directly tied to Dillon Gabriel, had flipped the game on its head. One was a fumble, the other, a pick that led to 7 points for the Eagles. Stefanski didn't dance around it. "Those were the difference," he admitted. "We had a takeaway, and even that was negated by a player lining up offside." Translation: we gave the game away, and it started with the guy under center. Even without calling out Gabriel by name, the message was the turnovers weren't just mistakes. They were momentum killers. And in preseason, where every snap is a chance to prove you belong, those are the moments that coaches remember most. Compare that to Shedeur Sanders. No turnovers, no delay of game, no panic. He didn't need Coach Stefanski to hype him up. His work spoke for itself. When the game was on the line, the staff didn't turn back to Gabriel. They didn't send him in for a redemption drive. They let the defense finish the job and quietly let Sanders' performance speak louder than any post-game quote ever could. Because inside the locker room, they saw the difference. Games aren't just remembered for the plays. They're remembered for the moments after. And in this case, the post-game moments told 2 very different stories. On one side, you had Dillon Gabriel, shoulder squared, voice confident. When asked about the quarterback competition, he didn't own his mistakes. He didn't give credit to the defense or acknowledge where things fell apart. Instead, he diverted, tossed out the entertainers versus competitors line, smirked, shrugged, moved on. It wasn't leadership, it was spin. There was no humility, no accountability, just a deflection play disguised as confidence. And while some might have seen it as swagger, others saw it as nervous energy in a jersey that no longer fit quite right. Then there was Shedeur Sanders. No trash talk, no showboating, just quiet reflections and team-first answers. When asked about what mattered most that night, he didn't point to his stats or highlight his deep ball accuracy. He said one thing: The most important part of being a quarterback is leading your team. That was it. Not performance, not perfection, leadership. And you could feel the difference. This wasn't a kid trying to prove he was great. This was a rookie quarterback who already understood what greatness looks like. While Gabriel leaned into ego, Shedeur leaned into consistency. While one talked about competition like a battle to be fought, the other practiced it like a standard to be met. Every play, every huddle. That's the gap. Not just between two quarterbacks, but between two mindsets. One trying to hold on, the other already rising, whether people are ready or not. It's one thing to look confident on the field. It's another thing to back it up with precision that leaves analysts stunned. That's exactly what Shedeur Sanders did, and experts didn't hesitate to recognize it. Former NFL linebacker turned analyst Emmanuel Acho broke down Shedeur's preseason tape frame by frame. And his verdict? He's got the tools, but more importantly, he's got the trust factor. Let's break down what made those throws so dangerous. It wasn't just the completions, it was how they happened. One pass in particular had fans and analysts frozen. Under pressure, Shedeur rolled out, eyes scanning, and delivered a perfect strike between two defenders and an outstretched safety. A throw so tight, it would have made even veterans hesitate. Acho's breakdown was simple but telling. This is the kind of throw most quarterbacks don't even dare attempt, let alone hit with that type of confidence and timing. And that wasn't a fluke. Time and time again, Shedeur's decision-making stood out. His reads were fast, his mechanics stayed clean, even when protection collapsed. And unlike Gabriel, who relied on checkdowns and short throws, Shedeur consistently stretched the field with layered, aggressive passes that forced those weren't rookie plays. They were quarterback plays, plays that show command, field vision, bulletproof confidence when it matters most. And that's what has people asking the real question now. If he's this poised in preseason, what happens when the real lights come on? Because while Dillon was dodging blame, Shedeur was stitching dimes. And the tape doesn't lie. Behind the scenes, something interesting is happening. No one's saying it outright, not yet. But word around league insiders is that Shedeur Sanders might not be waiting long to make his official mark in the NFL. And that's not coming from fans or hype accounts. It's coming from people inside the league. According to multiple practice reports, coaches have been quietly impressed by Shedeur's command at the line, his timing with receivers, and, most interestingly, his ability to lead in silence. Not every rookie can walk onto an NFL practice field and feel like a presence. But Shedeur, he's doing just that. One scout reportedly said he looks like someone who's been in the building for 2 seasons, not 2 weeks. That kind of trust building doesn't just happen by accident. Meanwhile, there are whispers that Dillon Gabriel's standing with the coaching staff is starting to shift, and not in the right direction. Some insiders claim he's been struggling with decision-making in scrimmages and has become visibly frustrated when things break down. Rumors suggest the Browns may be reconsidering how they handle the depth chart if Gabriel doesn't sharpen up quickly. And if that window opens even slightly, Shedeur's already standing at the door. Nothing is official. No announcements have been made. But the energy around both quarterbacks is changing, and fast. And that's the beauty of moments like this. There's no headline, no breaking tweet, just the quiet storm of a player rapidly becoming undeniable. Because when you've got the tape, the tools, and the temperament, you don't have to chase the spotlight. It comes looking for you. This wasn't just a preseason game. It was a preview of something bigger than a box score. Because now, the question isn't just who's the better quarterback. It's what does success actually look like in today's NFL? Do you want a conservative game manager who avoids mistakes? Or a poised, confident playmaker who can handle the pressure, make the tough throws, and bring a locker room together without saying a word? Dillon Gabriel had every chance to seize control, and for a moment, it looked like the job might be his to lose. Now, it feels like he's already losing it. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is doing things differently. No media blitz, no self-promotion, no excuses, just quiet execution, clean leadership, and relentless preparation. The team plays faster when he's under center. The offense moves better, the energy changes, and maybe that's the difference no stat line can measure. How a quarterback makes people feel around him. It's subtle, it's rare, and it's exactly what separates guys who play from guys who change teams. Heading into the next few weeks, all eyes will be on the Browns' decisions. Who gets the reps? Who gets the trust? And who steps up when it matters most? Because the reality is, this competition isn't just on the field anymore. It's in the locker room, in the meetings, in the way teammates respond inside 10 quiet seconds after a play. And if we're being real, Shedeur Sanders hasn't. It was about who made a statement without ever needing to say it. Shedeur Sanders showed up, led with calm confidence, and let the results speak for him. He didn't react to Dillon Gabriel's jab. He didn't get pulled into the noise. He just took the field, made the throws, and let his game answer every question louder than any headline ever could. Dillon Gabriel, on the other hand, had the spotlight and seemed more focused on keeping it than earning it. The contrast couldn't be clearer. One quarterback is leading, the other is explaining. One performs, the other postures. And whether it's preseason or primetime, fans, teammates, and coaches can all feel the difference. But here's where we want to hear from you. Which one of these quarterbacks do you believe has the real edge? Was Gabriel out of line for calling Shedeur an entertainer, or was it just competitive heat? Do you think Shedeur's leadership style, quiet, calm, focused, is exactly what the NFL needs more of? And more importantly, how much does character really matter in a quarterback battle? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Whether you're Team Shedeur, Team Gabriel, or just love seeing rising stars take over, the conversation's only just beginning. Because in a league that thrives on storylines, sometimes the quietest guy in the room ends up flipping the entire narrative. And this time, that just might be Shedeur Sanders.